Hello again. Right, it's Monday, 24th of April 2017, and I'm making this video really because it's an unusual situation we found ourselves in this morning. Over the weekend, we'd had the French elections, or a round of them, round two or one or whatever, but we've still got another heat to go, as it were, and that created a massive gap in the charts. So the gaps do create some sort of uncertainty on my mind because one part of my head is telling me they like to close the gap. The other part is that with such a massive move, with such momentum and distance as well, we're talking about a couple of hundred pips on some charts, Euro chart, Euro dollar, that I took the approach, or take the approach in this instance, of letting the price move for me. So rather than jump in at a potential looking setup at 5 after 5 a.m. and before 8 a.m. In this instance, we had rather than do that, I'll just let the chart pan out, as it were, and try and get something when the big move of the day happens. Now, normally that's 8 a.m., but what's happened today? We had news on euro dollar due at 9 a.m. So I just decided to go and have a coffee and then come back at 9 o'clock and see what was going on. It was just shortly before 9. So what I've done also is put the high and low levels on the H4 candle. That's why we're looking at the H4 charts. And we'll consider going low at a close below the low, and high at a close below the high. Not necessarily H4 close, but just a significant candle close. So as we drill down on the H1, we can see we had our alert to the long side, so I couldn't consider going short against that alert. What I want to see is an alert to the downside, then on the H1, then drop down on the lower time frames and enter that way, as you know. 30-minute is what I use really for the alerts on the 30-minute for the pre-Frankfurt London Open. I'm not sure whether I've ever made that clear before now, but the 30-minute is a 5-minute trend in terms of what a 30-minute candle is doing. So these three 30-minute candles will clearly show as a 5-minute uptrend, nice swing trend on the 5-minute chart, and as such, I didn't want to be trading into this H4 support. So that's clearly why the H4 level is on there. We can clearly see that that's going to be quite a beast to break through. We've clearly got the M5 trend in place just after 6 a.m., which is that white dotted line. So low, high, high, low, high, high. So I can't even consider going short until we potentially had a trend to the downside breaking this support here. So it was just a waiting game this morning, and I hope this makes some sense to you. So the 9 a.m. news arrived, along with the 30-minute alert on that candle as well. So now I'm down on the lower time frames, watching this closely, seeing what's going on. Sorry, that wasn't the 9 a.m. 30-minute candle, it was that one there is the 15-minute. So yeah, 30-minute candle then. So we had the 9 a.m. close. It's clearer. It looks like I took the trade before the end of the 9 a.m. candle, but if you drop down on the M1, you can clearly see that the entry was taken. That's the 9 a.m. close. That's the next candle, 901, and I entered on the following candle. So and aiming for the 25 grid, as you know, which you can clearly see. As always, you know, I don't deviate from my plan, or very, very rarely. So I set the take profit at just short of that level, and as you can see, there was a bit of to and fro before it finally went up and hit it. So we've got everything as per usual, the break of the incremental 141 in this instance, but it was a 25 pip incremental level. Clearly used that 141 level as a congestion zone, if you like, or accumulation, if you want to call it accumulating orders, and then they've just pushed it on up, and it's been a bit sideways most of the day. Actually, there's been nothing interesting later on, which is another reason I like to get in and out of my trades quickly, and the job's done. So that's it. Another day's work. Hopefully, a sensible explanation of what I did with this morning's charts. You know, you, I always another thing I don't often mention in these charts is I want to be entering after a trend, a candlestick trend, which is this red candle here: low, high, higher, low, higher, high. That's an uptrend. It's got the alert on it as well. Everything is good to go north at that stage. Waited for the news to, didn't care what the news was, because I'm not going to bother myself with fundamental analysis. All I'm interested in is the fact that the news will affect my trades, and it will cause this sideways motion for what was the best part of 3 or 4 hours there, and then finally we get a breakout. So hopefully there's a number of things here that are useful to you. The use of the 6 a.m. candles, low and high, H4 candle I'm talking about. That's quite significant. The fact that news will mean the price is likely to go sideways, so just go and do something more interesting instead. You cannot possibly consider trading against a alert, which is very important, which is why I show these alerts. So there was no way I could trade short. Didn't like that support short. If I'd broken that, I would have had an alert. I would have had the close below the H4 low. I would have probably had all the other tick boxes aligned in my head, if you like. The candlesticks making a candlesticks trend of a lower high and a lower low. So it would have been a no-brainer trade to the short side, probably targeting this whatever level that is there, 140.25, and hopefully entering just after the 140.50. So making the best of that move too. So there you have it. That's Monday morning's trade. Tomorrow's another trade, another couple of quid in the bank, hopefully. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.